No crash. Wonderful. Hello, Dota 2 fans, and welcome once again to the GESC Thailand CIS Qualifiers. We've got Vega Squadron versus NaVi today, and honestly, in this first series, it was dangerously close. NaVi edged out a Game 3. Pretty late victory, I want to say around 50 minutes off the back of Dendy Magnus. So certainly, Vega have proven to be a formidable foe for NaVi. Then again, if you check Lil's Twitter, he doesn't seem to think as much. So perhaps NaVi wasn't taking it all that seriously last go around. We'll see if that's the case. Bear with me for a moment as I open my mic. For those of you watching in game, MRP, your resident Canadian Dota 2 caster, happy to be with you on this Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to those of you that celebrate, and happy long weekend otherwise. Hope you guys have been enjoying DAC, but that should be winding up shortly. And of course, we're always here to continue to provide the Dota, the Pro Dota, to bridge the gap between DAC days. So pretty quick draft thus far, and both teams are certainly very familiar with one another. NaVi gonna opt for the early pick Viper, and that is something that in general CIS has held in high regard in these drafts. Interestingly enough, despite the kind of limited flexibility of the hero as far as lanes go, pretty much you put him in the what the hell? Put him in the mid lane or the off lane. I mean, I don't know how much I entrust the safe lane Viper, but either way. Anyone else DC, or is it just the damn Canadian? Well, in any case, Vega gonna go for essentially what they've been going for all tournament here with this Bounty Hunter Nature's Prophet opening, and NaVi certainly showing some comfort against Vega banning out the Treant. Tiny and Rubik just seem to be kind of strong heroes that they don't want to face up against, but this Bounty Hunter Nature's Prophet is really not unfamiliar in any way for Slayer and his crew. And, the simple concept on paper is that at any given moment, whatever amount of heroes that you see on the map can be accompanied by two more. We've even seen them add, the Lifestealer to this strategy, which they did ban out themselves, but that could have made it potentially three more than are shown on the map at any given moment. So, Vega, attempt to take a lot of kind of micro engagements and gain the advantage in numbers with this Bounty Hunter Nature's Prophet opening, and certainly do not rule out the possibility that the Nature's Prophet himself is a 4 or 5 position support. In the case that he is in tandem with Bounty Hunter, he's likely going to be a core, just because I feel like that duo extremely lacking in catch if the Prophet does end up being a support. Spirit Breaker pick comes out for NaVi, a bit throwback CIS kind of Dota 2 hero, and certainly very good against both BH and Nature's Prophet. So it did seem like they took some time to think about this. I don't know necessarily that NaVi, had planned this strat against these two, but definitely fits the bill as far as responding to their movements across the map and actually providing kill potential against both of them. So. So still an active duo in the Spirit Breaker Bane for NaVi, and it looks like it will be a core Nature's Prophet for Vega Squadron, which makes a lot of sense here. Witch Doctor, decent at stopping the charge of the Spirit Breaker, not excellent, but overall pretty good at skirmishing early on, and that's what Spirit Breaker's intent is. So kind of just disjointing the chain of initiation. Perhaps providing a little bit of heal, although we don't generally see, the Voodoo Resto leveled up But nothing too major revealed about Vega's draft. And that is, to some extent, what the Bounty Hunter Prophet opening offers you. You're not entirely committed to one, hero lane configuration. You have some versatility there. All right, Beastmaster going to be the pickup for NaVi, and that's likely going to be General's hero. Beastmaster Spearbreaker is a very potent lane early on, and in general, Bane is a pretty self-sufficient support. He can trade well, and can keep his health high with his brain sap. So in that right, he's a pretty good zoning support, and he's got good base move speed early on as well. So in most cases, he shouldn't be run down. He has a defensive nightmare for the most part early on as well. So this Beastmaster Spearbreaker lane could be real scary, and of course it does help NaVi with objective taking thereafter as far as buildings and Roche go. You could see Vega, considering something like a puck, certainly. Pretty good to have up against the Spearbreaker. And kind of a natural Lincoln's builder against the BM. Gives them some wave clear they don't really have just yet, even with this Terrorblade pick. TB is, feels like in some respects a response pick to the Beastmaster. High armor hero that can kind of sustain in lane, especially with a Witch Doctor nearby. Because his effective HP is mostly armor based, healing is a little bit more effective, or regen is a little bit more effective on the TB early on, and wild axes are not quite as scary. There's the puck ban from NaVi, so they seem to agree with me that puck would have been a nice pick for Vega. Similar heroes in nature. You're looking at maybe the DP. That's banned out. Yep, DP is banned out. Storm Spirit feels a little greedy. And it's a very hard Storm Spirit game, honestly, into Grip and Primal Roar. So it'd be tough for them to pick a mid laner. I could see something like a PL. But they need, some sort of space creation hero to go along and hunt with this Bounty Hunter Nature's Prophet while Terrorblade farms. And Puck would have been the perfect one, but nonetheless, they'll have to choose one. Broodmother's going to be the ban from Vega. We've seen a lot of late phase Broodmother bans from both sides in this CIS qualifier. So most teams pretty weary of the possibility of being brooded. Okay, Vega's going to do this once again. You don't necessarily need space creation if your intent is to ball up with your Terrorblade. Get to work. And Vega absolutely rolled Empire yesterday with this mid lane Jakiro. Well, they used it in the safe lane, actually. But core Jakiro nonetheless. So he is a pretty, he's not necessarily a puck as far as elusivity and, the resilience against Spearbreaker, but he's one of the most tanky intelligence heroes in the game. And Liquid Fire attack speed slow is also very strong, as is the dual breath attack speed slow. So effectively very survivable, early on. NaVi looking for a safe laner more than likely. Definitely want some wave clear here in some form. You think of the Sven, but I don't love Sven into Jakiro. Okay, so they'll look at the Morphling. So that definitely provides a little bit of wave clear, an ability to kind of hang around in the front where there is a pretty glaring lack of catch for Vega's lineup. So I really like the 5th pick Morphling from NaVi. Now, You know, I made the mistake of underestimating this core Jakiro yesterday. And I was actually into a Terrorblade, where there was not much catch for the Terrorblade, and therefore, you know, it was a very easy kind of get off your Sunder game. But when you're 5 towers ahead, items tend to supplement what you lack as far as your abilities go. So, you know, if Vega can get off to a hot start, they will have a massive influx of income at some point. So Sioma, not to be outdone here. Is going to opt for the 5th pick, Jakiro, once again, as he did yesterday against Empire. Now, Empire took a 20-minute loss to this, but I'm sure NaVi were watching. Of course, they were the team that knocked Vega down to the lower bracket in the first place. Just a regular old mighty boar, guys. That's a true Dota player right there. No need for hats. Actually, NaVi in general, pretty bare. Never mind. Just the courier. Beastmaster as well. Now this is Sioma, team captain. Somebody needs to get him some. Somebody needs to get him some cosmetics. It's one of the most standard bounty hunters I've seen in some time in Pro Dota. In any case, player certainly comfortable on the hero, and is more than willing to grab it in the first phase for himself. Lil not loading out with dust, no sentries either, it seems, on anyone. So Slayer should have a good time early on at least. Make his way down with a set of obs and 1 sentry. Before he's even made it to this area, this has been pinged out. But Slayer, ward in hand. Thinking about where to place this. He'll check around and make sure that no one's in the area and then place the ward down. However, there wasn't a Hub's ward, so that's going to be promptly dewarded here by NaVi's side. And he will maybe get a ward down behind the mid tier 1 as well, as he wraps around. Okay. This is a odd ward early on. You don't see it all that much, but it's certainly sure to survive a while. Ooh. Missed on the D ward despite seeing it being placed, basically. For NaVi. Unfortunate turn of events for their side. Crystallize going to get to block in his lane, and Palantimos will do the same. We've seen Palantimos and Blizzy kind of... Well, Blizzy is generally not in the mid lane. So an interesting laning configuration here from the Vega side, as they'll opt to put the Prophet mid against the Viper. Already 2-1 on the CS, and they'll go kind of pseudo-aggressive with Undershock's Jakiro. And against the Morphling, it's very hard for him to kind of sustain this low strength build against all this magic damage from the Jakiro. So, kind of an interesting choice here. For now, it is the Spiritbreaker Beastmaster lane that we anticipated. But look for the Spiritbreaker to kind of tip the scales elsewhere. As, you know, this lane probably the biggest concern for NaVi here, as far as Crystallize's farm goes. You know, top lane, you've got Palantino's. Cass gonna fly out. It's gonna bounce nicely twice over to General, and they do get some good harass down because of it. Dual Breath will connect onto Crystallize. And really good CSing though thus far from Undershock. Does have some pretty good base damage. Can also kind of slow the enemy's attack. So, but still, he's been impressive when I've seen him on this Korja hero. You know, an asset to have on your team in any case. Slayer gonna make the bounty rune relay down bottom, and Zayas and Lil gonna get into a bit of a scuffle, but Maledict will ensure that Lil makes it away, or perhaps just the spawn of the bounty runes is what forces him out. Blizzy gonna catch a little bit of harass, but CSing very well on the Prophet as well. 7 denies on this NP in the mid lane. Dual Breath and the Liquid Fire gonna hit on Crystallize, force out the waveform here. And gotta go back to this mid lane and take a look at the levels. Blizzy is pretty much, you know, half a level ahead here already, sub 3 minutes in. And very impressive. I mean, you know, NP no slouch in lane for sure.
I don't think so.
But already it looks like Lil gonna look to address this disparity in the lanes as he charges forward onto Blizzy. Dendi, oh, blocked up by the tree ends. Nice play by Blizzy there. Does not get slowed up because of it. And in fact, Lil in trouble now. Blizzy gets the sprout off. He's kind of staying out of range, but he may have just gotten greedy and will fall here. First blood. Gonna go the way of Dendi, so sure, Lil chuckling after that one. Blizzy having a fantastic lane to start, 13 and 9 to the 9 and 4 of Dendi. But now Dendi getting that kill, pretty much gonna even it up. LeBron catches a Liquid Fire. Does have a Brain Sap and a Nightmare, so feeling okay here. Meanwhile, top lane, Maledict gonna fly out. General coming through. Zayat's coming through with the body box on General, and Maledict will finish him off. Unfortunately for Palantimos, he's not the one to pick up the kill after popping meta, but is involved, of course. And CSing decently, 15 and 3 to the 11 and 1 of his laning counterpart in the Morphling.
Not for you.
Meanwhile, Lil TPing bottom, and Nightmare onto Undershock. Charge flying through. Dual Breath is there, but Undershock is left for dead bottom lane as Slayer was on his way back to base, and Lil has attended 2 lanes thus far after leaving top and secured a kill in both of them. Dendi gonna go for the Salve Clarity up on the high ground, and should be fine to let this channel. Now up on the high ground is Blizzy. You may want to look for a TP out here as he gets charged. Just gonna try and run away. Yeah, looks for the TP. Was it one attack too late? No, he makes it away. And it could have been just that split second of hesitation that cost him his life, but he does end up making the play. Dual Breath, quite a range on that ability, and it will catch Crystallize. Meanwhile, Lil behind the enemy tier 1 is gonna look to flank Blizzy, and doesn't get the charge off, but Blizzy is privy to this. And looking for the Treant body blocks once again. Lil pinging out the shrine. Crystallize pretty low bottom lane. Slayer making his way around towards mid. He is level 3 at this point, but it's gone for 2 points in the Shadow Walk, which not entirely unorthodox, but you don't see it 100% of the time. That is for sure. Now TP inbound from the Witch Doctor. Sprout is there. Nice body blocks from Blizzy. Cass gonna fly through as well, and Lil, he should be a little bit too late to the party. Dendi tries to pop the Fairy Fire, and Lil actually gonna cancel the charge just as he hits into Slayer. Not that it would really have mattered. Didn't want to put himself in any harm's way. Slayer makes his way down bottom. LeBron, though, has already quickly made his way over towards the bounty runes. Now Undershock looking for an opening. Finds a Liquid Fire onto LeBron, but can't press much more.
Denied.
Slayer really needs to soak another level before he becomes any sort of threat. Sentry was dropped down bottom. Slayer going to jump forward on the Crystallize. Fours out the waveform. And meanwhile on top lane, General going to die here to the Maledict more than likely. Blizzy though, 3 men, a Wild Axes. Palantimos takes out the Spirit Breaker. General will get the return kill onto the Prophet. But it's a double kill for the Terrorblade. Not a hero you want to be giving a double kill early on. 7 minutes in. Lil though, bottom charge and the bash onto Undershock. Dual Breath will be there. He gets off the Magic Wand. And Nightmare's actually onto the BH from LeBron. So everyone just kind of makes it away here for Vega. Now the charge flying through from Lil. Undershock going to make his way back. Does have a good chunk of HP here, so Lil would have needed the bash to even be close to threatening a kill. Speaking of threatening a kill, General top lane has a Roar available.
He's about to pop.
But Shrine going to be used by the Dire safe lane. As Blizzy again going to be aggressed upon. Gets off the Wrath of Nature. Viper Strike is there though, and a couple of right clicks will kill him off. Let's just try to delay things out with the Sprout and the body blocks. Let the tower do the work onto Lil. Lil's actually going to, well, die? And he does. Beautiful play by Blizzy. Got to be frustrating for the Spirit Breaker player, but nonetheless, I mean, the Nature's Prophet does go down first, so experience going to go the way of the Dire side, and Lil overall having a good early game regardless. Now wrap around from the Witch Doctor and a TP in from Blizzy. Sunder is there right away. Roar is there from General, but Trians do again a wonderful job of body blocking, and Zayats will pick up the kill. Slayer now making his way top.
Gold for me.
And for some reason doesn't pick up the bounty rune. Ward going to be dropped down by Lil by the Vega Shrine to accompany the ward already on the high ground here. Try and look for the Terrorblade while he farms jungle. Lil going to try and find himself a little nook in the trees. And no one on the Dire side sees him. But it doesn't seem like he saw them either. Well, he had the ward. What am I talking about? So they know exactly about this rotation mid. Dandy going to play rather safe. But a TP in behind the tower from Blizzy. It's not going to bear any fruit. The Crystallize has found some time to catch up with the TB in the meantime. He's only about 8 CS behind. Crystallize actually morphing into the Jakiro. Meanwhile, Blizzy, mid lane, gets charged up, but makes it away into the tree line. And Dendy can't give chase. Slayer level 4, 112 build. Lil gonna queue up the charge on Undershock, whereas maybe this ward gave them vision, or perhaps one of the creeps, but Undershock gonna ferry himself out a salve. Meanwhile, Nightmare is gonna find them a Zayat's Witch Doctor, who throws out the cast, but wisely LeBron splits off from his crew. Meanwhile though, Crystallize and Lil kind of in trouble here. Maledict is out onto Lil. Blizzy will grab a right click and kill him off here. And Crystallize pretty low. Undershock on the south side gonna find the dual breath onto LeBron, who's in trouble. Gets off the Nightmare, but now Slayer gonna join the fray. Has a Shuriken toss available, but doesn't get the right click off. And Undershock will be forced to back as Lil TP's back into the fray. Blizzy 24 seconds on his teleport ability. He does have a scroll though. Undershock being aggressed on under the tower. Zayat's TPing in. Dual breath will connect onto 2. Cask is going to be there and bounces nicely through the Navi lineup. Now Slayer rotating through. Gets the right click off onto Lil, ensuring the Maledict will kill him. Saves himself the Shuriken toss, looking for LeBron, but it will now turn for the more important target, which is the Morphling. 4 seconds until waveform is available. And they'll just let him back off, as he's got more than enough in the morph to be able to survive. Has that ring of health as well, so feels like Slayer could have chased down LeBron there, but maybe overestimated the amount of damage they could do to the Morphling. And LeBron Notifying his teammates that the TB is missing. Level 10 on this Beastmaster. Wow. 71 CS. Third overall net worth wise, but alongside the Viper with highest level in the game. As we take a peek at the net worth. I'm sure you guys have been flaming me to look at that. Palantimos, early double kill. And 2 assists as well to his name. And most CS in the game, so... or second most at least, so... no surprise he's on top. Treads Aquila Dragonlance is mega farmed for this Terrorblade at this juncture in the game. He'll make a TP towards mid. And will be smoked up. Lil should be well aware of this. So he makes a rotation down bottom. Crystallize going to be scouted here by Slayer, maybe only briefly. It was nighttime, so probably not, but the wave will find him now. Liquid Fire going to slow the attack of the tower. The track comes out. Cask, Maledict is there. Dual Breath. He will waveform away into the trees, but the Sprout is there immediately, and Crystallize is likely to fall to the Maledict no matter what. Death Ward doing work on General as well, and NaVi are going to be baited into this one. As Palantimos' first rotation will bear 2 kills and likely a tower. NaVi do find the trade as far as the mid lane tower goes with the HOD of Dendi. But their safe lane tower not long for this world. Certainly the better tower going the way of NaVi, but overall a good trade for Vega. And of course they do have a Jakiro, so can start to make quick work of these other towers as he makes his way top. It's going to be the target of the Lil charge right now. But Witch Doctor in the area, so it doesn't feel like a kill. And Lil will agree in that sentiment. Ooh. Radiant Observer right on a Dire Sentry, but it's going to expire in 2 seconds, so that'll be just fine. TP in from the Nature's Prophet. Maledict will be there with the Dual Breath. Charge actually comes through the NP. Track is there onto Dendi though, so he may as well be not long for this world. And, well, the Nightmare is there onto Dendi, and he's actually surviving with the Corrosive Skin. Now Slayer's in trouble. Lil does end up going down to the north, but they'll use the grip to kill off the bounty. So it's not a track kill going the way of Vega. And it's a 1-for-1 support for support trade. Zayats and Blizzy gonna get to shrining. Pretty rich Witch Doctor at this point. 5, 2, and 4. He has 5 kills on the Witch Doctor of the 11. Maledict, pretty good spell. Primal Roar queued up. Death Ward behind the tree line. Beautifully played by Zayats. And General likely to fall here. Maledict does finish him off. Shuriken gonna bounce through to LeBron off of the creep. Tower going to be killed off by the Radiant in the meantime, but with the track move speed, Cask is going to be there. Janata slow as well. Liquid Fire going to finish off LeBron along with the Wrath of Nature from Blizzy. And already we're going to see a small net worth lead being built up here by Vega. Regeneration. But a good distribution of farm amongst the Tricore of NaVi, and you know, NaVi do have 2 towers against this Jakiro lineup. And the Jakiro lineup has only a single tower. So, NaVi doing very well for themselves, all things considered, in this early game. Zayats drawing into the Radiant jungle, wanting to occupy that area of the map. But there's no major objective there to take. Although, it is probably the safest place for Vega. And they can look at this tier 2 at some point. Slayer making his way down bottom, looking for the Morphling, who did just waveform. Does he catch a glimpse of him? It doesn't seem like he did. Smoke up, NaVi. Looks like it might have been under a ward. It was pinged a couple of times. Dendi, LeBron, Lil. Gonna look to join with General top lane, who does have Necro level 1, as well as his Primal Roar ready. And 2 levels in the Inner Beast. Interesting that he maxes the Call of the Wild before Inner Beast. In any case, Glyph going to be popped, and great vision for NaVi in the area, so would be very difficult to fight as Vega. Vega going to look to kind of trade this with Palantimos bottom lane, but they're going to be far too slow to do so. And the Nature's Prophet TPing in. Undershock really nowhere to be found. Making his way back to base on the Jakiro. With the Inner Beast. Oh, Primal Roar north side is going to find himself a Witch Doctor. And that's a one more right click. Is going to finish him off for General. LeBron in trouble, gets the grip off, but he's taking a lot of damage here. Shuriken will kill him. Sunder needs to be there, but it's not. Lil gets there with the Nether Strike and the charge. And NaVi get a big kill on Palantimos. Lil going to have his TP canceled by the Shuriken of Slayer, but he'll be able to charge to safety. And Terrorblade to kill, and half the damage on the tier 3 for their tier 2 bottom is a more than acceptable trade for NaVi, who in my opinion, you know, despite the kill score and the net worth difference, which is, you know, very slightly in Vega's favor, are certainly in control of this game. They have much better late game with the Morphling, I feel. You know, Terrorblade certainly no slouch, but against the core Jakiro with the Beastmaster attack speed. And the Morph not really joining any of these fights for that matter. NaVi should be very comfortable with how this has gone up until the 18-minute mark. For context, at 16 minutes yesterday, this lane of Rex was eliminated by Vega's core Jakiro lineup. Against Curry, you're going to be sniped out. Actually did have a Force Staff and a Necro recipe. And Slayer makes it away, gets the track off. He's underneath a ward, but NaVi undeterred yet. General nearby providing that Inner Beast aura. Meanwhile, up on the high ground, a Lil Illusion is going to be gangbanged. And that'll provide enough time for NaVi to get to Roche. Do have a Veil on the Undershock Jakiro, so there is some form of initiation there. Manta style not too far off for Palantimos. But Necro 3 ready essentially for General. He's got one recipe in base. He had one on Crow. So he'll have that in 2 minutes. Dendy looking at a Lotus Orb, it seems. Top lane. Sounded like an Orchid, but it looks like General will be able to make it away. He's a very tanky hero with 10 armor at this point. And a good amount of strength from the Necro too. So Blizzy does have that Orchid up, but the reveal, quote unquote, will not bear any fruit. Crystallize keeping up admirably with a Terrorblade and farm. Does have an Aegis on his person, so it looks like they'll try to use this in order to push the low-hanging fruit of this outer tier tower in the bottom lane.
Bountiful.
LeBron hanging around nearby, and a very easy tower kill for Crystallize. NaVi have now taken the net worth lead with that tower kill, and they have 4 towers down versus a Jakiro lineup. But Blizzy with an Orchid available gets it off onto Crystallize. They will miss the Ice Path, however. Macro Power flies out, and the Death Ward is there. They will get the Aegis, but this is a lot committed just for an Aegis, and Vega, yeah, wisely, I think, will back out. So NaVi have their Aegis eliminated, but, you know, they'll get a tower out of it. It's not all negative for them. Certainly not entirely what they wanted, but as I mentioned, they do take the net worth lead here. And still are fairly strong as a unit. Scan is going to find the Bounty Hunter. But no detection here for these heroes. As Slayer continuing to pursue. Okay. Missed the first kill of the game. 1 in 24 ain't bad. Apologies for that one. But Blizzy will be taken out in the top lane. Slayer still stalking behind enemy lines here. Ooh, if he hung around just one more second, he may have found a crow. Oh, he might find it anyways. Oh, shows himself underneath the tower. Necro's popped. Wild axes are there. Force staff forward from Dendy, and that's a dead Slayer. Quick reaction time there from General.
Return to nature.
Lil gonna really give it to that Alpha Wolf right in the butt. Necro units should be up for a little bit more. Macropyre going to drop down from Undershock. In general, looking to flank, but no one providing a real opportunity. Meanwhile, Blizzy bot lane, again in trouble. Charge. Oh, it's going to be there with the Adaptive Strike. And Blizzy going to die. General, meanwhile, gets a kill on the Witch Doctor in the mid lane. And NaVi looking strong here at this 22-minute mark. Get down a deep ward as well, a couple of minutes ago.
Gold for me.
General with the Arcane Rune active. He's going to get gone on here and tracked up. Ice Path will be there. Following the Yules, and this should be a dead Beastmaster. Track kill, and a pretty big streak as well goes the way of Palantimos, who has completed up the Mantis Style and has 2k in addition to it. Wouldn't hate the Lincoln's build for Palantimos here. Although it does, you know, in some respects seem a little bit defensive. Stats are always good for the TB. Dire do have vision behind the tower here. And LeBron will be scouted as well as Dendy. And it looks like the tower will be denied because of it. Actually, still charging forward onto Slayer here. And he will realize a little bit late, but the Ice Path is going to be there. Macropyre as well. Crystallize taking a lot of damage to the reflection. Slayer getting low. Another strike will connect onto Blizzy. Shuriken tossing through, and the cask as well. Crystallize in a lot of trouble here. Orchid does pop the soul burn, that is. Dendy going to die, and they're trying to track down LeBron as well. Undershock, no Ice Path available, but gets the dual breath off onto Crystallize. They'll pop the Lincolns. General coming through, though, with the roar now onto Undershock, and they'll kill him off. And now charging through is Lil. Gets Blizzy down, but Palantimo still standing strong. Shadow Amulet will be there for the moment, and Lil will survive. And it ends up being a 3-for-3 with General coming back into the fight. Lil still hanging around, but there's really nothing they can do about it. And he will be able to charge away to safety.
Coin of the realm.
So overall a 3-for-3, but they do get the two main cores in Dendy and Crystallize. So you do see the advantage, at least gold-wise, for Vega. Most of the experience going to Lil and General, however, who were kind of around for the end of the fight. The only heroes not to die there for NaVi. Signs of life for sure for Vega here, as things felt like they started to slip away. But NaVi just really intent on taking that fight. It's going to be the Scotty, so it will be an ultimate orb item for Palantimos, but he does definitely feel the Lincoln's a little bit too passive, and thus far he hasn't really been the main target of the roar. Slayer just short of getting to the low ground here, and the charge through 3 is actually going to be cancelled by Lil. Sentry's down. Dust is going to be there as well. Crystallize. I was like, Witch Doctor? Had me messed up there. Hanging around, and Slayer looking to wrap on him. Meanwhile, top lane, General does find the kill again onto the Nature's Prophet, not even needing Lil. And Dendy pushing in mid lane in the meantime. Oh, man. And Chain losing them, boys. Chain losing them. Tier 2 being pushed on as a major kill. Going to be net bottom. Lil Sentry is there, but he makes it up to the high ground. And the Radiant do finish off the Tier 2 in the meantime. Vega may want to look to fight as the Nature's Prophet responds. Slayer stalking around the back lines. Apologies for the T2ers, guys. It's a little harder when I'm soloing. Sure, you're going to be taken out by Slayer, and he will make it away, but nothing on it. Blizzy a little bit hampered as far as his item progression goes. As you can see, Nature's Prophet generally don't tend to be this far down in the net worth, but he's died a handful of times recently. In particular to General, who does have a Shadow Blade and is going to look hunting once again. Won't find anything though. Blizzy's made it back to base. Hanging around with the Hawk looking for that pesky Nature's Prophet. Blizzy though playing very safe at the moment. And thank you to R1. We are aware that there's an Aeon disc on the Jakiro. Just allow him to get off a few dual breaths, a few liquid fires in the fight. General still bottom. Slayer won't have his smoke popped yet, but Undershock does. Hawk gonna scout him though. General gonna get under the cover of Shadow Blade, and they cannot find him. The Hawk will be killed off though by the Macro Pyre. And General away to safety.
The seeds of fortune.
Wages of fear.
Trying to check if there's a bounty hunter on him as well with the scan. LeBron well aware of the positioning of his opposition as he draws on the middle of the map. Ward going to be taken out by Vega as a unit. They're going to hang around the Roche pit, maybe try and bait something in here. Slayer looking for the enemy. Will not find it just yet. So they wanted to fight on that Scotty timing for Palantimos, but unable to find the opportunity. Smoked again though. Vega undeterred here. And it looks like they'll run into Smoke's Glimmer Cape. Is their Ice Path going to connect on to 3? Macro Pyres there. General's down immediately. Lil in trouble under a sentry. Dendy slowed up by the Scotty, and Blizzy going to walk forward as well. Gets the Treant body blocks off. E-Blade and Adaptive Strike will bring him low, but he's force staffed to safety. And now Dendy in trouble as Vega, with a perfect timing after one smoke, will find another. Reflection is there onto LeBron, and Palantimos will shred him. Meanwhile, though, Crystallize doing all he can in the mid lane. Wrath of Nature needs to pop his Lincolns here, and Blizzy does have an Orchid. Sprout is there. Crystallize makes it away. Force staff forward from Blizzy. He's going to take a big Adaptive Strike. Now the Yules is a self-Yules by Undershock. A little bit of a miscue there. And it looks like Crystallize will make it away. Meanwhile, though, Palantimos working on the Roche. And Blizzy will help in that cause, so they will at least get an objective out of this big team fight win, and that is going to be the Roche. Slayer going to look for LeBron and going to find him. He'll get Nightmared up here as the sentry is on the ground. And Crystallize will rotate through. It'll be an easy kill on the BH, but Roche in the meantime going to go down. Second Roche of the game. Cheese on the deck. Aegis and Cheese into the hands of the Terrorblade. Lil will charge up the Treants, but won't find much more here. And a very scary Terrorblade at this point, with Vega now all of a sudden having a 4K lead. We see the metrics just dive downwards in their favor. General does get Zayats. He's done that like 400 times this game, and I think I've missed all of them. But he does deploy the Necro units for it. Lil working on a BKB.
Quick sprint.
Lotus Orb is up for Dendy, and he's kind of kept up with the NP, but can't really be relied on to do damage. Lil, they try to find him. Dust is there, but he's just out of range of vision as it is nighttime. And he has been a slippery bugger in this one. The Spirit Breaker, highest of levels of all the supports, and even higher than the Nature's Prophet. Been involved in 13 of the 19 NaVi kills. And this R1 guy, man, I'm going to have to mute him at some point. Looks like a BKB being worked on by Crystallized as well. Just up against the Jakiro makes a lot of sense. Suppose you can purge the track too, and the Orchid. Gem going to be picked up here by Vega. Risky proposition, but they'll look to counter these Shadow Blades. Could be bait from Palantimos. Crystallized nearby. He has an Aegis as well. This is a very ballsy play, and already prepared his Undershock. He does whiff on the Ice Path, but Palantimos still fighting strong. He's going to end up sundering Slayer, who looks to get off the kill on Lil, and he will be able to make it out into the... the Ice Path catches Crystallized. Shadow Walk, I should say, and that is a dead Morphling. And Palantimos going to get the Sunder off onto the BH. And the wave is nearby. Still, LeBron and Dendy pushing in mid. Blizzy will deal with that momentarily as the rest of his unit gets to work top. Palantimos going to begin plinking away at this tower, and he will take it down with ease. Undershock nearby. Liquid Fire not even really needed for this push, and they will try and force the Crystallized buyback with Blizzy dealing with mid. General goes for the TP out. Slayer is able to cancel it. This could be huge, as they can't really mount a defense without the buyback. Glimmercape's going to be there from Zayats. So I guess without Slayer, they opt to not press forward, but there was no Beastmaster for this, and they probably could have brought in Blizzy's Prophet. So it was a bit peculiar to me that they don't press that. At least to force the Crystallized buyback, but Vega feel it's not worth it with the Metamorphosis expiring.
Haste.
Slayer gonna go for a Lotus Orb of his own.
Bountiful.
So about 900 gold from his BKB is Crystallized. And a smoke from Vega as they'll look for Lil bot lane. Blizzy with the dust finds him, orchids him. Ice Path from range. Undershock with the blink will find Lil. And he'll try to TP out. Yules will be there. Nicely played by Undershock. Very patient from the Jakiro. Meanwhile, mid lane, Crystallized being stalked. Blizzy thinking about the TP in. They need to pop the Lincolns here, though. And they will be able to do so. Cask will be there. Orchid is there as well. He will be able to E-Blade himself, though. And for that reason, Crystallized should make it out scot-free. Nicely played. Aegis will expire onto Palantimos, and he'll put the cheese in the inventory. Blizzy going to join him up. Meta is popped, and they get some free damage done on the tier 3 before NaVi can mount a response. Undershock, Ice Path going to connect onto 2. Reflection is there as well. Crystallized taking a crap ton of damage, and he'll have to be forced to waveform defensively. That'll allow Palantimos to step up onto the high ground and take out the tier 3. He's going to be gripped up, but the Ice Path is there, and LeBron is simply going to feed, as Crystallized was not even close to ready to fight at that point. So, feels like a bit of a miscommunication. Charge through onto the TB. Orchid is there. Cask flies through onto Lil as well. And the Ice Path is there. And Lil may be second-guessing his tweet now, as Vega, the first to breach base. 36 minutes in, 27-19. And they'll TP Slayer out. Palantimos, as expected, with the liquid fire, will get to work on the shrine here. And the Manta Illusion should be enough to take this out. Still a cheese in Palantimos' inventory. Full BKB available for purchase as well. Kind of anti-Tinker Ward here from Slayer to catch out the split-pushing General, Beastmaster, and or Crystallized Morphling. Gem is on to General. And as well on the Witch Doctor. General nearby. Zayat's gonna find him with the cast. Blink away. Can't disjoint that, however. And now the TP in from Blizzy. Still, though, Undershock a little bit too far away on the Jakiro here. General will create some space for his team. Full BKB is up for Crystallize. He's level 22 on the Morphling, similar to the Terrorblade. And Dire are going to find Lil here, but it's going to be a little bit too late, as now they're going to look to the north. He's actually gone southwards. Goes for the Shadowblade TP and will be successful. LeBron back to base, Crystallize in general, as I mentioned before. Split pushing together this time, though.
I'll take that.
And with the Inner Beast, Crystallize going to make pretty quick work of this tier 2. So Vega kind of in no man's land. There's no real objective for them to take here. And they'll be forced to TP back to defend. General going to TP out successfully. Undershock looking for an opening, but won't find it. So it looks like both teams kind of content to wait for Roche at this point. But NaVi assembling towards top around their Crystallized Morphling, who does have that BKB. Dendy's got a BKB of his own, but he's not the scariest as far as a damage presence in this game. Vega will get to tier 2, make their way towards top where Slayer resides. There is a gem on General, though, and he's actually going to TP out just in the nick of time. So looking to catch stragglers. Palantimos metas, but makes his way out. Lil behind. Crystallize in trouble. BKB's up, though, and the Nether Strike will be there, but the Ice Path to respawn. Up to the high ground goes Crystallize. Death Ward is going to be there. He'll look to TP out as he morphs, and the Yules will be there in time. Ice Path as well. And Crystallize left for dead. Lil trying to make it away. Scotty slow. Right clicks follow him, but, well, he's charging onto the Ancients and tracked up. He's going to die here as well. So nicely played by Vega as they kind of force a reaction on the tier 3 and set up with everyone but the Terrorblade, using the fact that NaVi is going to assume the Terrorblade has support behind him. And now General going to find Slayer. I finally found one of his Shadowblade Roars. So that, again, will create some space and time for his squad. But they do lose Crystallize, a crucially important hero. And again, 5,400 gold on the Terrorblade after completing up the Butterfly. He is incredibly farmed right now. Talked about maybe better late game for NaVi. Caster be damned. Hawk was taken out here. And Undershock, Palantimos, Blizzy will get to work on Roche. With Liquid Fire, this will be a quick attempt, and it won't be all that risky either.
Immortality.
Cheese on the deck. I feel like there's a refresher shard with this Roche. Oh yes, it is on the Terrorblade. So double meta, double sunder, double reflection, even though reflection has a 6-second cooldown at this point and a 6-second uptime, but 5.5 is it? It's 5.5, yes. No one level 25 just yet. Dendi closing in as well as Crystallize. Blizzy looking for Crystallize. Will be a bit too late to find him. Slayer gets a track off onto Lil. And Navi playing pretty scared at this point. Lincoln's buff onto Palantimos is going to be popped here. He'll throw an illusion onto the high ground. That'll be cleaned up pretty quickly. But so will the tier 3. Sprout up on the high ground for Blizzy. Crystallize gets the E-Blade out, but catches an Ice Path, and he could be in trouble here. Reflection is there. Defensive Nightmare. He's hexed up, though. Lotus Orb no longer purges that. He's going to be brought down and buys back immediately. Blizzy, he's going to have the cheese used on him, or use it himself. Still, Sunder is available for Palantimos, and Dendi is going to drop here. Palantimos going to look to reset with his squad. Double buybacks come out. Spirit Vessel will keep him healthy, as does the Voodoo Restoration. Now Ice Path flying out. And Reflection onto Lil. Palantimos standing and right-clicking brings down the Spirit Breaker. Triple kill. Ice Path connects onto 2. Crystallize in trouble. Is forced to BKB up. And Undershot going to get the Yules off. Aegis is there. There's a refresher, though, for the TB in 3 seconds. Backpack cooldown is there. They may want to turn and fight this. There's a Reflection and the meta once again off of the refresher. Crystallize going to have to turn and run. Dendi, after buyback, gets the Viper Strike out, but he's in a lot of trouble as Palantimos shreds through him with 33,000 gold to his name, the Terrorblade. Unkillable in this second life, and he'll take the second lane of Rax as the creeps finish off the tier 2, or the tier 2 finish off top a while ago, I should say. Blizzy jumps forward, finds the Hex. Reflection is there as well. Defensive Nightmare onto General. E-Blade onto the Witch Doctor, but the Glimmer Cape keeps him alive for now for Zayats. Crystallize will transform into the Morphling and at least steal an illusion. And Vega will be content with their treasures here as they only lose the Jakiro. With that refresher shard on the TB, make quick work of the second lane of Rax, and for that matter, the entire Navi lineup. And take a 26k net worth lead here, 44 minutes in. What an impressive showing from Vega. And now a refresher orb and BKB completed on Palantimos. 4k golden edition. 2,800 of that is surplus.
Leaves of 3, let them be.
It's got the short Sunder cooldown as well. Throws the BKB in the backpack. Can swap in the refresher when needed. And Navi on the back foot here. 1 tier 4 even missing in the meantime. Perhaps the creeps taking that out during the entire mid lane fight. Now, this is a broken-ass talent. However, knowing you're going to buy a refresher, you may want to go for the attack range. I feel like that's a little bit odd. You considering you should have 2 Sunders here. General finds the back line, will go on instantly on the Morphling, but he's got an Aeon disc. Yule's up into the air, BKB popped by Palantimos. He'll start to work on LeBron. He'll be forced out now. Crystallize taking a lot of right click. Is going to have to wait for him to the west. Will get the Witch Doctor down, and Palantimos kind of in the middle of nowhere, but the Hex does end up finding the Morphling. They'll force him forward. Reflection will be there. Crystallize out of time, and 122 seconds on the sidelines for the Morphling. The Witch Doctor will buy back and try and make it into the fray. Slayer trying to run away from Dendi and General, but in the meantime, Palantimos looking to end the game and will be able to do so. GG is called. NaVi dropping the first game. And I gotta say, it's kind of nice to see. Slayer played a good game on the Bounty Hunter. 3 and 20 as far as kills and assists go. His squad overall, 35 kills. He was involved in 23. Palantimos, though, the absolute monster in this one. 819 GPM, 611 XPM, and 13, 1, and 4 on this Terrorblade. Ends up by far largest chunk of net worth in the game, 37,000. So Vega, they are going to take this first game victory, guys, after Lil claiming they had no chance on Twitter. Lil always providing us with a little bit of a spark. And Vega will go up 1-0. Guys, winner is going to move on to the grand finals of this qualifier against Team Spirit, who awaits their opponent. And it is a best of 3. So Vega 1 game away from the grand finals here. NaVi on the back foot, looking to square this one up in game 2. MRP going to be back here, twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit GESC Thailand Qualifiers.